All right, here we are. Happy Tuesday. Normal build time, just a little earlier for me today. And the reason for that is we have this Legion of Thor kit that we've been working on, and I really, really hope, and I think it's possible, that I can finish this up on stream today. So we've got his very scrawny legs that were left over, or that's where we left off last time. And I'm going to go ahead and pull these off. We're going to put armor on these things today. And then we have to build the backpack and the giant hammer weapon, which, even though they're really large, they don't look like they have a ton of parts. And so that's the reason that I think that it's possible to finish this up today. We'll see how whether that happens or not. Yeah. Actually, so if you're watching this on replay, skip to the end, see if I finished the build, and then time travel back and post in chat right now and let me know that we finished. No time travelers. Okay, that's fine. I still think we can probably finish in time. So, yeah, let's just get started, shall we? If I can figure out where we left off. Should be somewhere in this area here. Yeah? Yeah, so we were building the feet, and they actually have us putting the armor onto the feet before we attach the feet onto the legs. And so I skipped that because I wanted to go ahead and finish assembling the inner frame so that we could kind of see how tall the whole thing was going to be put together since we were running out of time last time. So that's what we've got here. I'm going to turn you guys down this way so you can see the desk while I work. And yeah, let's get going. I remembered to get my nippers this time. They were again back in the house because over the weekend I was working on a different project inside the house and they weren't out here in my studio, but unlike last week, I remember to bring them back today. All right, here's what we're gonna do just to get organized. I think I'm gonna remove the feet. Where's the best place to take the foot off of the leg? Probably this way. Yeah. So we'll do that. Set the legs off to the side for a minute so that we can work on just the feet. Orange Haro is here in the stream. He's in the chat. I think for the first time. I've been kind of working on him off and on for a little while, but I haven't joined him into the chat until today. So he's a little bot that can tell you things. Like right now he's already told us what kit we're building today. There's some other ways he can interact with you in chat, but I'll just leave that for people to discover. I obviously need to wake up this morning because I just had these runners in my hand and looked ahead in the instructions and didn't see any other parts that we needed, and immediately there's a part that I missed. I am actually feeling a little bit more tired like the last couple days. I think it's just the daylight savings time change. I don't know if that affects anybody else that much, but like for me, it's always a little weird for a few days until I get used to it. So I'm hoping that like today is the last day of feeling tired from that. I think it probably will be. Also doesn't help that we have pets that don't understand the time change, and so they keep waking me up in the morning at the time that they think, you know, is the normal time, right? I'll zoom you guys in here for this assembly bit. I'm just checking to see if the order of putting these parts together matters. I don't think it does. That just slides on there. It is unusual that the underside of the, like this inner frame part that's sticking out on the heel is a different shade of gray than the toe area. They came off of different runners and they're slightly different colors. Seems strange. This goes this way. Just for the record, it's probably easier to fit these parts together if you've followed the instructions in order, because I skipped a couple steps and went ahead and attached some of this other inner frame bit up here in the ankle area, just because we wanted to assemble the inner frame before the end of last time stream. It's a little bit harder to get some of these parts in place now. Not impossible, for sure. But this stuff is a little bit more in the way, and it wouldn't be if you assembled things in order. What's wrong? Oh, I'm putting this on upside down. And that is why it doesn't fit. All right, so 2 feet, and then we've already done this part because again, we were skipping ahead. Although I don't think we did that. We put those on there, but we didn't do, okay, I figured it out. We're caught up now. My chair was feeling low. That is much better. So for the next cool stream trick, I just realized what I need to do is hook up some sort of AI camera operator that can tell what I'm currently doing right? So like if I'm trimming parts off of runners, it can zoom the camera out like it is now, and then if I'm assembling parts, it can zoom it back in. That would be amazing, and maybe possible, but probably not easy, right? I also need to figure out how to position the camera better, the overhead camera, so that it stops getting like right here, the top of my head. Hey Ghost Sword, welcome. Yeah, it probably, actually I just need a haircut. My hair's too tall on the front there, and that's why it's in the camera shot. Yeah. Note to self, go get a haircut. All right, where does this go? Like this? Probably. It would help if I had the other side here. Which is not that. Is that right, or is this right? Or does it just slide in here? Or does it attach down here? So many choices. Yeah, that last one is the correct one. You built or are building a high-grade goof custom. That's a fun little kit. I built a variation of one of those not too long ago. It's done. Did you enjoy it? Nice. And happy birthday. All right, and it does want me to put these back on here now. So now we've caught up with where we left off at the end of last stream. Like I've caught the instructions back up and filled in the bits that we skipped. Some parts are stiff. Well, I mean, that's better, I think, in my opinion at least, than having parts that are too loose. Right, because if they start out too loose, then over time they're going to get even worse. Alright, I'm going to look ahead and grab a bunch of armor parts off of these A-runners because I think we're going to need almost all of them. We need that one for sure, and this one definitely. Hey, we might finally get to use these two pre-painted parts that came with the kit. If you've been following along, I've got these, like these two parts. They've been sitting here on my desk for, I don't know, like a couple weeks now, right? How long has it been since we started the kit? These are the ones that had this little silver bit that came pre-painted this way. And they were already cut off the runner. Like the gates are still here, so we'll have to trim them. But it was unusual that these came in a little separate bag, cut off the runner and pre-painted. So I've left them here on my desk to keep them away from, you know, getting scratched, to keep them away from other parts and stuff. And I think we're about to get to use them because I think they go on the knees. You need to get a ground type. Are you thinking, is there a master grade version of that, or do you have to go with high grade for that? I don't even know. I think I'm cutting a part that I don't need. That's true. I don't need that one yet. We'll leave that on the runner, hanging by one gate. It feels kind of weird to say this, but I'm actually really excited about the impending release. I think it's starting to appear in some of the shops here in the United States of the real grade Epion. I usually am not super excited about real grade releases, but that one looks really cool, and I'll probably pick it up and build it at some point. Yeah, there's a master grade, cool. I don't know about you, but that is always my preference if I get a choice. I like the larger scale kits. They're a bit harder to display because you have to find space for them. Speaking of finding space, all of these kits, these third-party kits that I've been building a lot of this year, like this one and the Genesis and the Trailblazer and all of those, they are so large, especially with, you know, their giant backpacks. If you try to put them in some sort of a dynamic pose, not just standing, they take up a ton of space up on their action base, and I'm having trouble finding places in my display cabinet to fit them all. But they've also like all been so good, I can't skip them. They're all really good kits. This one, though, I think is my favorite. It's not finished yet, so I guess I'll reserve that judgment till we're done, but all of the engineering and extra cool little gimmicks related to articulation and movement on the inner frame of this one are very, very cool. Nothing else off of the J runner for now. I know for sure we're going to turn the page in just a minute. And then I'm going to find a lot more parts off of the A runner especially that we haven't grabbed yet and that we need. Yeah, so one thing about this kit that I'm interested to find out, hopefully later today on this stream, looking ahead at the instructions, it seemed to me that even though like the detail and the amount of like inner frame cool gimmicks and stuff like that so far on the kit have been very good, but it seemed like once we get to the backpack, and the weapon's different, right? Because there's no really moving parts that I could find on the weapon, but the backpack does have some moving parts, and it seemed very much, looking at the instructions at least, like it was more of a simple, almost like Bandai high-grade style build for the backpack. It just had a lot of really big pieces, but not a whole lot of separate pieces and motion gimmicks and things like that. So I'm interested to see when we get there if that turns out to be true. Like, I don't know if I'll be disappointed in how the backpack goes together when compared with the rest of the kit. I hope I'm not, but we'll see how it goes when we get there. Ooh, I almost trimmed like the nice sharp edge there and messed it up, but it's all right. All right, I think we have parts now to be able to assemble some of this stuff. I'm thinking about and being careful about whether I think that I'm going to be able to take these apart again if I push this all the way together. I think I will. Somebody asked me a comment on the YouTube stream of the last build, my thoughts on the kit so far, and I told them that it's a good kit, but my one concern is the very tight fitting. Like, there's tight tolerances on a lot of these parts, and so especially if you're planning to paint this kit, I would be super careful about you know, if you paint the parts before assembly, there are definitely going to be some areas where you're going to have to sand some of the paint back to be able to get things to fit together, and especially on joints, to make sure that the joints don't just completely seize up and then shear off when you try to bend them. Just because the parts are fitting so tightly together. For me, I do plan eventually to disassemble and then paint this kit and put it back together again, and so that's going to be a little bit scary, possibly. We'll have to see how that goes, because just getting some of these pieces apart is going to be a trick for sure. All right, and then this goes on the front of the ankle, I believe. Oh, it goes there, but it's not gonna stay until there's another part that goes in here that we don't have yet. So I need to grab that. It's this one. All right, so now we should be able to put this here, and then this one snaps over the top of it. This way? Is that right? That seems wrong. Oh, upside down? It goes this way? Yeah, that's much better. Interesting, okay. So yeah, that seemed like it was gonna kind of float on top of that armor, but with this piece in, it holds it in place. We'll do the other side. And then very quickly, I need a couple of pieces off of the L runners. Which are all tangled up in the box. Perfect. We're getting to that point in the build, and this happens with every large build. By large build, I mean one that has a lot of different pieces and a lot of runners, where my organization system of just stacking the runners in the box alphabetically starts to fall apart, because as we cut things off of these runners, there's a lot of these little extra, edges that are left over sticking out, and they tend to get caught on one another when they're stacked in the box. So there, now it's all cleaned up and should be better. That was a pretty terrible job by me of trimming that gate. Let's fix it. I mean, to be fair, I hadn't noticed that it was sitting at this like weird 45-degree angle. So now that I know that, these other ones are quite a bit easier. Although one of them left a mark that I'm still not happy about. There we go. All right, so this opening goes toward the back, and weirdly that opening goes toward the top. So this goes this way. Yes. And then we have this up here. This one goes in here. Yeah, so I was just talking about my concern about the tight fitting parts on this kit, and then like when you get to a part in the instructions that say these two parts are going to snap on, that makes me even more worried, because that usually means that it's a extra secure fit. We'll see what happens here. There's two, it's actually just two ball joints, so this one goes up there and this one goes in there. And we'll see how solidly I have to press on this to get it to fit. Oh, that wasn't too bad. All right, I'm less concerned now. It's not the end of the world. Don't worry. We'll be able to take that apart later. Have I gotten these oriented correctly? Yes, I have. Okay, cool. Now this one didn't fit onto the top ball joint all the way. There goes that one. Yeah, so I get why they're pointing out in the instructions that you need to be careful to snap those into place. But the fit isn't terrible. Like, it's not so tight that I won't be able to get it off later. This goes this way. Probably should have put the other one on first. Yeah, definitely should have put the other one on first. Or at least loosen this up enough to be able to fit this one underneath. Yeah, there we go. It is a little tricky to fit both of these on because both of these joints want to move as you press down to snap the ball joints into place. There went one, there's the other. End result of this, though, is going to be, I think, quite cool movement of these two parts on the sides of the lower legs when the feet and ankles move around. Like, there's really good potential there for some interesting movement, right? If I tilt the whole foot side to side, see how that kind of moves up and down? These two bits on the sides here shift both ways. I assume we'll fill that middle part in with some sort of armor in a second, as soon as I turn the page of the instructions. Time for water. All right, so let's get these kind of out of the way for the moment and grab the next batch of parts. Yeah, so the A-runner is done now, at least this A-runner. Toss that one on the floor, and we'll go ahead and grab all the parts off of this one as well. For the other leg. All right. So those are done. I'm going to also need, what? A couple of things off of the B2 runners. Just a single part, right? Off of each of those, I believe. Oh, I need 1 and 2. Yeah, so both of these curved parts. Then we need 15 and 16 from here. So all of these parts that I have in the pile that we're currently creating, and then we're gonna have to trim, I think they're all for just like the lower leg armor, like these bits that are gonna fill in the sides right here and then the front right here. It's a lot of pieces just for that kind of small area. Both of these as well. And we're not done yet. We've got one more part to grab. No, two. One off of, yeah, a pair off of each of these runners. Yeah, so now I'm really glad that in the last stream we didn't try to keep going and do the armor for the legs, because like just this little bit here is such a huge number of parts. I would have been there for another hour or maybe even hour and a half. I'm so used to there being undergates on almost all of the parts on this kit that when I get to a piece like these that just has regular gates, I almost like have forgotten which angle to cut them at. Yeah, now we're back to undergates again on this one. So many pieces. It's like a never-ending assembly line of trimming nubs. All right, I finished. Let's clean up some of those. I might need to empty, yes. I picked up the tiny vacuum and already things are falling out of it. So let me empty this real quick first. There we go. Cool. We'll just leave that over there because I probably need it again later. All right, back to the legs. So, 2 parts on the back portion of the ankle area. Before I press that one all the way down, I'm gonna just make sure that they don't interact with one another. No, it doesn't. One doesn't get in the way of the other, so it doesn't matter which order you attach these. Did I go that way? Yes. Zoom you back in here to get a closer look at these things. Yeah, so even with such big, chunky armor parts, there's still a ton of the inner frame that still shows through. I think we're going to cover some of that on the side here. Let's go ahead and do both of them in parallel here, just because that'll be easier. Nice. Okay. So that's going to go like that, and then our blue piece with the curve, the other one, yeah, goes in between here, and then we have another dark gray bit up top. Like that, right? So these are going to go on the sides of the legs. We need to build all 4 of them. That's the wrong direction. Let's try again. There we go. Of course, if I just randomly pick up a piece, it's going to be the mirror of the one that I need. Yeah, that one was too. Oh, and so was that one. There we go. All right, so 2 of those, then we build the other side. Now I know for sure these are going to fit because they are the only choice that is left. All right, so 4 of those. Do we get to put them on right away? Yes, we do. So these go with this vent part facing toward the front of the leg. And this is actually keyed. So this hole, there's like a tiny notch in there. Yeah, if I catch it with the light, you can see it on camera. And there's a little edge there. So this only really fits in one way, like with one type of orientation. And it's gonna bump into this bit down here on the ankle unless I kind of rotate things and move it out of the way. And then once it gets underneath that, it'll be fine. So you just have to kind of rotate that out of the way while you're putting this in place. And then once it presses all the way in, it should be fine. Yeah, so there's a little bit of rotational movement there, I guess because they didn't, that notch and the thing that fits into it there, there's a little bit of a extra play. Yeah, you can tell, like this is a kind of wide notch compared to the little tab that fits into it. All right. Then we have this piece which goes on here. Simple enough. Although it looks like it wants to press in there a little further than it is currently going. There we go. That looks right. Same thing here. And now we're left with these, which need some very small parts to go onto them off of these runners. They're these little guys right here. And that must be all we need off of these M runners for now, because this part that's left over here, this large one, definitely looks like it's part of the guns that go on the backpack. So don't need that one for a little while. Haro's welcoming other bots into the chat. I guess I'll have to fix that at some point. Good job, Haro. Alright, I don't know what we're doing with those parts yet because I have to turn the page. Yeah, that makes sense. These go here. Interesting. Alright, so I'll try to explain. This peg right here, let's zoom you guys in. There we go. So this peg is going to go in here, and then this channel, this curved channel, is going to fit around this little bit that's here. So that's going to create the correct motion later on when we bend the knee joint to allow this thing to shift this whole piece up and down. That's the wrong side. There we go. That's upside down. Let's go this way instead. It's also a little tricky to get that to fit together. You've got to bend the knee joint just right. But then once you do that, it all works and makes sense and is fine. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, we're not going to look at it just yet, but when I finish with the rest of the armor, which isn't that long away, we'll play with the articulation of that knee joint, because there's all kinds of cool stuff. This lower calf area here was like going in. Well, I'll give you a sneak preview, right? So you bend this little bit here is like going down inside to get out of the way so that this can go all the way back. Then there's separation here, there's movement here and down here. All kinds of stuff going on. That's very cool. All right, back to our J runners. Maybe for the last time. Yes, looks like it, because we're going to grab both of these parts. Right, so that's the J runner complete. I'm just checking to make sure, but it is. So this is weird. This is a very sharp, kind of pointy part. It almost looks like the end of a nail. And it looks like it goes in like behind the knee. I guess we'll find out shortly. What else? Oh, a couple of these transparent parts. Oh, and finally we get these pre-painted ones that have been sitting on my desk for weeks now. Nice. All right, we get to use those, and we're grabbing these two clear parts. And since this is the first time today we're using the clear parts, I will remind us all that the kit came with two versions of this clear runner, the clear orange that we're using, and that matches all of the like photos on the box and stuff. And then there's a just completely clear runner, a copy of the same thing, so that if you did want to paint it with a transparent paint and have some different shade than orange for all of these transparent parts, you could definitely do that. So that's a nice thing of them, for them to include that, even though we are not going to use it here. All right, let's fix up that little mistake. Not really a mistake, it was just impossible to get the nippers in tight enough to completely remove that nub without using the knife. Just because it was very close to this angle over here. I think I've pretty much mastered the technique for trimming these things like really flush and needing very little sanding later on. However, occasionally I get messed up by the part itself and, you know, other things that are nearby that are in the way of the angle that I want to have the nippers at to make the correct trim. Yep, it's gonna happen on this part too. Let's see if I can... No, not quite, so we'll clean it up. Oh good, there's 2 more of that same part. Okay, well. Let's just trim them both. And we'll save that one here. And then we'll trim this one. And then we'll fix them both with the knife. Good. And this one's over here. Good. Oh, and these as well. I'm not sure how the manufacturing process works for this kit and whether there's like somebody who has to go by hand. And because like I said earlier, these 2 parts were, when they came to me, they were supposed to be part of the A runners, but they were already trimmed off of the runner. They were then pre-painted, just this little silver bit right here, and then they were put in their own separate plastic bag from the rest of the runners. So I'm not sure if somebody has to do that by hand or how that process works. I mean, I can't imagine it being automated, right? So probably somebody has to do it by hand. All right, do you fit only one way? Yes, you do. We'll do that this way. And then this slides in here. That's actually kind of pointy. Like there's a little bit of a dulled point on it, but yeah, you could hurt yourself on that. It is like the end of a nail, basically. Plastic nail. All right, and what do we do with these? They go in the back of this part here, right? So this is going to be the main front of the knee. And this slides in here. Oh, that snapped in kind of tightly. Well, yeah, that might be hard to disassemble later. I guess my future self will have to worry about that. I was not expecting that to fit in quite that tightly. And then this clear part goes over the top of the silver that was pre-painted. That's actually been the case everywhere on the kit, right? So like here on the chest, these clear orange parts here, those parts behind, the blue part that actually has that part that's in there behind, that was also pre-painted in silver. And then like some of the parts, this one is like it, but you can't really tell. The back side of that clear orange part was pre-painted in silver. Here's an example, right? So these 2 parts here, the back of them is painted silver, and this one here, the back is painted silver. So they did that for you to help the clear parts really stand out. I'm going to pay attention as I push this one in place here now to see why we got such a big snap on the other one and whether I'm concerned about that. Oh, I see. It's not going to be that bad. I can probably pry from that end and get that other piece to come back out. Yeah. Okay. I'm less concerned now. Alright, so those are our knee parts. Why do I have these? Oh, because they also go on here and I just haven't put them on yet. That's why. So that goes there. And this goes here. That's the wrong side. This one goes here. Oh, nice. I see. Yeah. That would be upside down. All right, so now these front of the leg assemblies, oh, they just slide onto this notch right here. Right, so we just press that together and slide that on. Does it snap? Not really, but it's not coming off unless you know, pull on it pretty hard. Yeah, that's a chunky knee for sure. Are we done with the legs? I think we probably are. Yes. All right, let's play with articulation for a second. We've got a toe bend. We've got ankle pivot a little bit. The side ankle armor gets in the way of that somewhat. But then we have this cool like tilt. Oh, we also have a toe side to side. Yeah. But then if we tilt the whole foot side to side, we can get this motion where these side ankle bits kind of slide up and down. It's actually easier, rather than trying to rotate the ankle, to just actually physically move these up and down to get the whole thing to move like that. Yeah, so that's actually really cool. The heel also rotates separately, so like you can rotate the front of the foot and the heel to get any angle you want on the ground if you're doing some kind of weird sideways stance or something like that. That's cool. All right, now I think that's it for the motion down there, and then everything else is related to this knee bend, which I'm trying to figure out what the best way to grab this is to demonstrate that knee bend. We'll do it from this side. It is a very tight joint, like most others here on this kit. So yeah, this separates, this pushes in. And then there, at the very end of the bend, there's a little bit of separation there. I'm gonna do it again and look at the front this time. This part came out. Interesting. Because everything is connected on this kit. So there's a little bit right, or a little part right here that attaches into the side of the leg. And that came loose while we were bending the knee. I'm gonna see, I probably need to reach in there with these tweezers and line that up to press it back in. Otherwise, I would have to take off this outer armor part. And I don't really want to do that. So let's see if we can fix it without doing that. No, I don't think we can. All right, so we'll pull this off. It's probably easiest to pull that out of the ball joint, push this back in here. So in the final build, it might be a good idea to actually glue these two parts in to the side of the leg there, just to give yourself a little bit of added stability there. Because I could see those, if you're gonna move the legs around a lot, I could see those popping off pretty frequently. Come on, snap back in. Line up, snap in, there we go. All right, so back here to the knee, which is what we were really looking at. I was looking at the front of the knee here. When this bends, at the top of the bend, there's nothing. But then as soon as we get to this part of the bend here, then that starts to bend back and we get this little separation of this front part as well. If his leg is bent all the way, he's got a very large, right? And then this nail part can slide out, right? Because it was on it. It was on a sliding mechanism. Yeah, it's just a little hard to do. I guess that's a weapon, right? So he can hit you with his knee. Slides up and down. If we leave it up and then we try to straighten the leg out, does that get in the way of anything? I don't think it will. No, it doesn't. So this is the leg all the way straight again. Yeah. Morok, welcome. Hello. Nice. All right, so yeah, overall, I think I'm happy with the legs. They're very bulky, which is good, right? When we saw the inner frame on there, on the actual mobile suit before putting the armor on, they looked kind of funny being so scrawny, those legs, but these are great. Let's see if we can snap this all the way on here. There should be like a snap at the end here. Yeah. Isn't there a final snap? Yeah, there it is. All right. So this works best if you move this waist armor out of the way, then you can get some pressure in here to press up against to get that leg in place. There we go. Straighten his torso out. So yeah, that looks really nice. Let's switch over to here. I'll show you on this camera. That's what he looks like. Just kind of playing around here with the placement of the and rotation of the feet to see how stable I feel like it's going to be. Because once he's got the backpack on and the giant weapon that he has to hold, I'm curious whether he'll be able to stand up on his own, or he's going to need some help with some sort of an action base. But I think with such big chunky feet, and it's quite bottom heavy with the bulk that's on the legs, I think it'll stand up no problem, even with the weight of the backpack and such. Speaking of which, I think that's the next part of the build. Let me get cleaned up just a little bit here. Clear up the desk. All right, so here's the plan. Before we continue to build, so we've got backpack, which is this giant unit here with some side, I don't know what those are meant to be, and then these large cannons up top that go over his shoulders. Yeah, that'll be next. I'm gonna take a quick break. I need to go turn my air conditioning up because it's hot in the studio today. I thought the weather had cooled off, but apparently I was wrong. So yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a drink and turn down the AC so that it will cool off in here, hopefully, as we continue to work. See you guys in a bit. All right, here we go. Back with the backpack unit, this is funny. I don't remember if I pointed this out when we unboxed the kit and we were looking through the instructions, but let me zoom in on this for you here. Right here in the instructions, they call this in multiple places. I think on the box as well, but also in the instructions, it's the knapsack unit, which I guess is another word for backpack, but I find it funny. So let's build the knapsack unit. So I wonder at what point do I just pull out the rest of the runners from the box and cut out all of the parts and just leave them here on my desk in a giant pile that we can sort out as we go through. Because while there are quite a few runners left in the box, they don't have that many parts on them each anymore. And the parts they do have are these really big parts. So I started today's stream, I think, not quite an hour earlier than I normally do, than is normally scheduled. So we've had maybe 45 minutes extra time so far. But yeah, if I had not done that, we definitely would not be finishing this kit today. But I think looking at the current time and how much time there normally is left in the stream, if we stream until the normal stop time, we actually are very close to being able to finish this thing, I think. We'll see how it goes. Like I said at the start, I would like to finish today if possible with this kit because I didn't say why at the beginning of the stream, but I'll tell you now, or I'll give you a little hint. I already have figured out what the next project is. It's a big one that I want to do on stream, and I'm excited to get it started, and so that's kind of the reason for the push to finish this one today. I've got everything I need for the next big build that I want to do on stream. It's all been delivered and ready to go, so yeah, I want to get that started later this week if possible. And that's all I'm going to say about it for right now. And then this kit itself will get eventually disassembled and painted and put back together again and detailed up and finished. But I don't think I plan to ever do that on stream. I'll certainly post photo and maybe video at the end so you can see what it looks like. So here's another case on this piece here. And if I can catch it in light just correctly, you might be able to see it. Yeah, see right here in this area of the piece, those are scratches. Like you can see there's some stuff there. Those are scuff marks. Because the part got scratched in the packaging, I believe. There were a few runners that were packaged such that they rubbed up against each other as the box was, being transported around and stuff, I think, on its way to me. It shows up mostly on these very dark blue parts, which I guess makes sense. But those are definitely going to need some sanding to get them perfectly smooth before priming and painting. Or else I think there's enough scuffing there that would actually show up in the final paint job if it's not dealt with correctly. So I don't know if other people who got this kit saw that same issue with any of their parts or not, but I have noticed it on maybe 3 or 4 parts total in this whole kit, so that's not terrible. It is a little disappointing though. Especially if you're a person who just wants to scratch build the, not scratch build, snap build the kit and leave it unpainted, maybe just top coat it. Those kinds of blemishes would definitely show up. All right, so these go in here. This very large rotational joint is, I assume, going to be where these like cannon parts can rotate up and down on the backpack. These go this way, and we'll be able to slide in and out like so once we get the other half here sandwiched on. That was a big snap. So more parts that are going to be hard to disassemble for sure. Actually, depending on how seam lines work on this backpack, so far it's not bad. Like, they're all hidden in panel lines. Mythical Mage subscribed over on YouTube, I think. So you might not even be in the stream. You might have just subscribed because of watching videos. In any case, welcome. So yeah, what I was going to say about seam lines is it might be a case where I decide, instead of disassembling these backpack pieces, like these sub-assemblies, even though they're multiple colors, I may leave them assembled and paint them that way. Especially because they're fitting so tightly, snapping together so well here. And I know that that's to support the movement of this. They probably engineered it that way on purpose. But yeah, I could just paint them with masking. It'd be a little tricky on some of these sliding bits, but not too terrible. So we'll see later on what I decide to do about that. I had a part roll off the desk when I wasn't watching. Also, I have a part in the box here that has fallen off of the clear runner. It is the part that would be right here on the chest, this lightning bolt thing. I guess it would go this way. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it off to the side here on the desk so that it doesn't get scratched up as I move things around in the box. But I did not notice that until just now, so I'm not sure how long ago it fell off. It would have been right here. And its opposite friend here, the mirror image of it, is really solid on here, so I'm not concerned about that one also falling off. At least I don't think I'm concerned about that for now. All right, I'm gonna grab this part 5 off of the B2 runner, and part of me wants to just grab both of these as well. Although looking ahead, it's gonna be a while till we need them, so I'm not gonna worry about them right now. By a while, I mean like at least 2 more pages of the instructions. So oh, the other interesting, exciting thing that should be happening with any luck very soon over on the YouTube channel is I'm finally ready to make a video, kind of the final video. I've teased it a few different times, talking about the construction of the display wall that's behind here in the studio behind me. So that wall back there that has kits hanging on it. Now I gotta fix the camera again for you guys. It's a completely 3D printed project, and some stuff that I found online that other people have designed, and then a few things that I designed to work with it. And I've got those custom design parts finally cleaned up and ready to share. And I wanted to do that before I made a video about it, because I wanted to make them available for other people to be able to download and print as well. And so, with any luck, later on this week, I will get those files shared over at printables.com, and then I can finish up the video talking about how that whole process went and how I assembled it all. So hopefully by the end of the week, I would think that I can get that video released on YouTube. And that'll be cool, because like I said, I've been kind of talking about and hinting at that video for a few months now. But I had some problems with my 3D printer, and then I had some refinements that I needed to make to my custom printed parts. And it just took a little bit longer than I had hoped. All right, let's get a better view for you guys and start putting this together. I'm gonna actually move the mobile suit itself a bit out of the way, actually even more out of the way for a minute, because it's just so big now. It's getting in the way of everything here on the desk. Right, so we're making this in mirror imaged versions. So in this case, we want this cap on this side and this one over here where we're going to attach the ball joints. Do you have a specific orientation? No, either way is fine. Cool. Well, am I sure? Yes, I'm sure. All right, so yeah. That will go that way, and then this one will do the opposite, right? So we want the ball joint on this side. Cool. I want to grab these two parts so that we can be done with the B1 runner, but I don't see yet where we need them, so I'm going to leave them on the runner for now. So this G runner that I'm holding right now had a piece that had fallen off of it in the bag. I've also been keeping that one here on my desk. So this piece has been sitting here for a while, and now we finally get to use it. The good news is that wasn't damaged in any way. It had just, like I said, fallen off the runner in the bag, and then when I unpacked everything, I found it. I guess I thought I was done cutting parts, but we need 2 very small parts off of this K runner, right? Just these little guys here. This song has kind of stopped being a song, and it's become just like random strings, like random violins. I'm gonna skip it. There we go. I can't tell if this is the same. I guess it is. This part looked black or very dark gray, but it's the same shade of super dark blue that is elsewhere on the kit. All right, it is time to build things. So that goes there, and there. Why don't you fit? That's a good question. Why doesn't this fit? There it goes. I think it was my fault. I think I had it lined up wrong somehow. Twisted was here. Hey, thanks for joining in. Yeah, the kit's really good so far. It was in my backlog for quite some time as well. I've built a lot of third-party non-Bandai kits this year especially. And I would say so far, I think this one's my favorite. So I like it better than the Genesis and the Judge, the Zero Gravity Judge. Yeah, here's how it's come along so far. We've got the actual mobile suit finished, and the backpack unit is what we're currently working on. But yeah, it's big and chunky and very cool looking, and very solid as well. A lot of the joints are super tight, which is good and bad, right? I think it's good from a articulation posability standpoint. It's potentially bad if you want to do a lot of like paint work or customization or that sort of thing to it, because I feel like you're going to have to be yeah, you heard there are a few tight parts. I'm planning to disassemble this and paint it as I do with most of my kits, and it's going to be a challenge for sure. I think I've been kind of paying attention to that as I've been building it, trying to think about the areas where disassembly is going to be difficult, or where after I paint I'm going to have to sand some areas back, because otherwise the fit is going to be way too tight. I've put this in backwards. I should probably fix that before we get too much further. There we go. So, but yeah, I think if you want to just build this and maybe, you know, put the decals on and top coat it, and that's it, I think it would be really good. Really good and solid, and, you know, you'll be able to put it in just about any pose. I think it'll be able to hold its very giant weapon without too much trouble. We can't try that yet, but we will soon, I think. But yeah, if you're going to do any kind of additional work on it, the tight fitting parts might be a problem. Yeah, like, I don't know if you guys can hear, I don't know if the microphone picks up the snap as those parts go together, but those definitely fit together super tight and are going to be difficult to take apart again. You heard it? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, and you also want to be careful, I think, with this one as you're assembling it too. Like, don't make a mistake, right? Because if you have to disassemble anything to fix a mistake, that might cause problems as well. Do you know, did yours, so my version of the kit came with this, which I haven't opened yet. It's a cloth cape. I don't think that all of the copies of this came with this kit. I think maybe this was like just in the first print run or something like that. Yeah, so you got one of those too. I haven't opened it yet. It seems like it's reinforced with a wire around the outside to try to give it some structure, but I'm interested to see how that works and how well it stays in place once we've got that on the kit as well. I've left it in the packaging for now because I was afraid of messing it up while I was building everything else. Pre-order bonus, yeah. Okay, so mine though, I bought this from a local hobby shop, so I must have just been lucky and managed to get one that they had brought in that had that. I did not know that it was a thing that I should look for when I was shopping for the kit. I just got it by accident. You're waiting for some P-Bandai kits. So I order from P-Bandai from time to time, and then what happens is I forget that I ordered something or when it's supposed to be coming, and then it'll just show up and it's a nice surprise. Like, I'm sure right now I have 1 or 2 P-Bandai orders that are like months away that I've totally forgotten about. All right, nice. So we finished the D1 runner. That can go on the floor. Yeah, I should probably log on to my P-Bandai account and remind myself what I've ordered and when it's going to be coming. That would be smart. I do know, like, over the summer, it must have been July. Yeah. It was whatever drop they did during the month of July. It included the Polypod ball, which I missed the first time that it was available, and I really wanted a copy of that kit, and so I was actually out of the country on vacation at the time, and so I managed to get one of my friends to jump on there and grab it, pre-order it for me. So I know I have that one coming eventually. But I don't remember what else I've got in the queue. All right, so there is something special about this part right here that it's trying to tell me about. But I do not see a difference from one side to the other of this joint. No, it's not different. The Master Grade Johnny Ridden, yeah, okay. There's more of those loud pops as parts go together. Well, that's another thing about this kit that I was surprised about a little bit, besides the tight fit. surprising number of parts on this kit are undergated. So depending on your thoughts and opinions on undergates and whether they're good or bad, and whether you like to clean those up more or less than standard gates, that might affect your enjoyment of building this. Yeah, that's quite a few kits. Hey, welcome. Haro also says hello. I gotta say, I'm a little surprised Haro's still working. I just enabled that for the first time today, and I was expecting to have issues with it. But he's been pretty solid so far. Good job, Haro. How'd you manage that? Because that is pretty strange. I'm afraid that, like, someday in the future, the P-Bandai model of how we buy kits that way, like prepay and then they print them for us, will become the way that they sell most kits, and that would suck. I hope that that doesn't happen, but like, I think there's a decent chance that it does. All right, I'm about to hurt my thumbs because the trailing edge of this wing piece here is very sharp, and somehow I have to squeeze this part on here. Ow. All right, I survived. However, I have to do it again. Ow. All right, what are we doing here? So these two pegs plug into the back of this backpack unit. It's going to be another one of those very tight fits. Oh, That kind of sucks. So that was they were both on P Bandai. Like you bought the first iteration or the first round, and then they dropped the price. I'm surprised actually. I've never paid close attention to the re-releases on P Bandai, and I assumed that they would always re-release for the same price. Wow. All right. Well, that's something new to look for then, right? See if they ever drop the price on anything. I'd expect them to only ever raise prices. All right, so this little bit goes here. Does it matter which is the top? Yes, it does. And this one has to go on this side. Oh, another thing about this kit, since you were asking about it, we haven't seen it yet on the backpack unit, but on a lot of the joints on the mobile suit itself, they had a lot of times where you have these peg type joints, like what I'm just assembling here. Let me pull this back out. Maybe, yeah. So a lot of these peg type joints were keyed, right? So they have like, I guess this one sort of is, but I don't see where it fits in here. They have one flat edge and it only fits on one way, and then once you get it on there, they ask you to turn it like 180 or 90 degrees or whatever to lock it in place. So that tends to be something that happens a lot on this kit as well. And something to be careful of if you're ever going to disassemble it, because you can't just pull those joints apart. You've got to rotate them to the correct orientation to get them to come off again. The Aereo Ecopla, yeah, that one actually looks pretty cool. I think the Exia, the Master Grade Exia Ecopla looks pretty cool too, but I've never purchased or built any of that line. These pegs again are ones that are keyed, so there's a flat edge that you have to make sure you line up correctly, and then you turn it around 180. After you get it in place there. Ow, my fingers. Exchange rate? Yeah, that could be a reason. That is, you've got a point. If they price in yen. All right, my fingers are never going to be the same, but we got those two parts in place. All right, we've finished two more of the runners now. There's still a decent handful of runners left in the box. How am I doing on time? My goal was to finish this kit on the stream today. I think there's still a chance of that happening. I thought there was more scratched plastic on that part, but it was not. It was like a little white piece of fuzz that had landed on the part and was just stuck there. So these are the last parts on the L runners. I think now the pile of empty runners on the floor is larger than the pile of runners still in the box. My desk must not be level today or something, because I've had two different parts roll off the desk toward me. Thanks for the follow. So next on the stream schedule after this snap build of this kit, I think, I'm pretty sure that next is going to be a resin kit, which I've never streamed work on a resin kit before. So that'll be interesting. And I don't plan to like do all of the work on stream, because some of it's kind of tedious and would, I think, be boring for you guys to watch. Like, you don't want to sit there and watch me sand and clean up resin parts for hours and hours. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to stream some of the more interesting parts and then do some of the other work off stream in between streams. but I think that that's going to be a fun project for sure. So, and I'll be starting that probably, you know, whenever the next scheduled stream would be after we finish this build, which looks like it's going to be today. So hopefully starting that later this week, probably Thursday. I'm not sure that I have all the paints, actually, now that I think about it, that I had planned for that resin build. I might have to order a couple things, but we can at least get started. It's going to be a while before I get to the time when painting is needed. A shop in a mall. So my experience with those types of shops is that the kits are extremely overpriced. Which is sad, right? Because I always want to, like, if I find a shop that's near where I live that carries this kind of stuff, I want to buy from them so to encourage them to get more, right? But at the same time, if they've marked the price up so much that it just doesn't make sense to buy it, then well, that's not bad then at all. Yeah, I would definitely buy from a local shop if it was close in price. I call it my local hobby shop, the one where I can go and buy kits like that. They have a good selection of kits and paints and other things like that. Is about an hour drive away from me, so it's not really that close. But I try to go by there at least, you know, every couple months or something to take a look at what they've got. But other than that, near me, there's not a lot of shops at all that carry any Gunpla kits or other model kits, really, which is sad. All right, which way do you go? You go this way, right? Yes. So this is one of those situations where, like, if these two pieces never come apart again, like if that snaps in so tight that it's not coming back out, which it might be, I don't mind too much because they were the same color anyway. And I wouldn't mind painting them together and then doing whatever masking I need to do to pull out some of these extra details. Yeah. So they'll probably get painted together, even though they were originally separate parts. According to the instructions, the order matters for this next little bit. So this part goes on first. And then this slides in. Interesting. All right, so they were very specific about the order of things there in the instructions, and I would have done it differently. I would have definitely put this part on before the one that goes back here, just because they overlap in such a way that that is a lot easier. I thought this gun barrel up here was going to slide forward back based on how it went into place, but it doesn't actually. It just slides back. That's how it attaches, and then it doesn't ever slide back out again. Right, so we get to use some of our transparent orange again. I'm using the wrong nippers. Let's fix that real quick. Oh, I see, I'm making two of these. I was like, why are there two copies of both of these parts? Because this next bit I am building twice. Let's see, E-runners are easy to get to, so we'll do those first. This must be like the hammer, the head part of the hammer. It's very large. What is that called? Like the business end of a hammer, the part that you smack things with. What do we need? Both of those? Yeah? Yeah. So I said earlier in the stream today that I was a little concerned about the backpack unit and the weapon being a lot like simpler and made of fewer parts than had been in the rest of the kit so far. Turns out that is not the case, so I am pleasantly surprised by the level of part separation and engineering so far in these backpack parts. Like, there's not... I was afraid of like big sandwich together style construction where you end up with visible seam lines that are annoying and that kind of stuff. Haven't seen any of that so far, so that's good. All right, I need a drink of water. So now let's sort out the left and right sides here. Does that go that way? No, I think it goes this way. With this ridge facing toward us? Yes. That is better. Cool. All right, so this is going to snap together in a very solid way. I'm actually going to purposefully not snap that all the way together because I want to be able to disassemble this later for sure, to get that clear part out before I do any kind of painting or anything. So yeah, that'll be fine. There's a little gap down here at the bottom. No one will notice. Except for all of you, because I told you about it. there's a cat hair that's like been on 3 of these parts, and I keep trying to brush it away and it keeps coming back. We have 2 cats and they live in the house, which is not near my studio. Well, you know, this room is out in my garage, so they're not allowed to come out here. And part of that is to keep the cat hair away from all the projects, but somehow one lone cat hair has managed to make its way out here, apparently today. I thought I just saw the cat hair again. Go away. All right. So we now have 4 of these, and we need 1 more part off of our K runners. It was probably, yes, it probably was on my shirt. Or on my hand, or yeah, somewhere. Five cats and 4 dogs. Wow. That's gonna make more than 1 hair probably in your model building area. All right, here we go. This goes on top of here. And then these guys snap on the sides, and the orientation matters, right? So I want this part with the bigger rectangle facing forward. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, we have our 2 cats. Neither one of them were strays, but there's like a animal shelter near where we live, and we got both of our cats from there. And I think one of them either was a stray before he ended up there, or he was not treated well by people, because he was super afraid of people for a while, until he decided that we were okay. And now he's my son's best friend, so. All right. Yeah, it's weird. The joints on this thing are so tight that I sometimes, like, I wasn't sure that this had any kind of up and down movement. I felt like it needed to, but then I started trying to move it and it didn't want to move, so I was afraid of breaking something. All right, this snaps in this way, right? Nice. So there is the very large backpack, which I think is done, right? Yes. So let's zoom out, and the way we attach this thing is on the back of the mobile suit there is this little hatch that folds open. Is that as far as it opens? Yes. And then this just plugs in here. How does that, oh, there's a gap above. Yeah, I was like, why does this not run into something? But yeah, that seems fine. So we'll try to avoid smashing his head with, you know what? Let's just bend these up out of the way. That would be smart. Yeah. Always try to be smart. See how tight this fit is. It's pretty solid. Yeah, it's actually really, really good. Now we can bend these down. So I think he's going to be back heavy without some adjustments here to how this is standing. Right? I had him standing pretty solidly. Actually, he's not bad. He feels like he wants to tip backwards. So yeah, some of this, either his upper body is going to have to shift forward a touch, or we're going to have to shift these little sort of side binder parts on the backpack to get the weight a little more forward. Also though, if he's holding his giant hammer, which he will be doing soon, and it's out here in front of him, that will help with the balance as well, definitely. Yeah, so that looks nice. Let me give you guys a better view here of the front of it from the good camera. So yeah, these things here can kind of fold back if necessary, and these side bits open up, but not that far, or they will fall off. We can do something like that. Of course, if I fold those back like that, then he's definitely back heavy and he's falling over backwards for sure, without a pretty massive forward lean, which we can do and get him to stand. This one didn't come with any kind of base in the box. At least not that I see. Yeah. So the size of that backpack, I think, balances out his shoulders pretty well. Because like I was always thinking that his shoulders, especially these parts that jut out from the sides of the shoulders here, were very large and chunky. Even just the shoulders themselves were big. But now with this other structure in behind it, it looks really nice, I think. Yeah, so all that's left is the hammer. And then the shield, or not the shield, he has no shield, the cape, which I'm thinking I'm not going to open, since I do plan to take this thing apart and paint it eventually. I think I want the cape to remain in that packaging so that it's nice and safe and doesn't get messed up until I finally go to put it on the finished build. It's time to just go through these runners and cut the rest of the parts off, isn't it? I think it is. There's one. There's the next one. So this runner here, we haven't actually touched. It's entirely, yeah, it looks like it's entirely just parts for this weapon. It's also a kind of unusual feeling, like shinier, more rubbery plastic than has been anywhere else on the rest of the kit. So that's interesting. All right, maybe I should, instead of continuing to cut parts off of runners, I will trim these and see if we have enough to actually build anything yet. Because we must, right? There must be something here that I can put together. I'm gonna move this out of the way again, just for a minute. He'll come back again on screen for sure at the end once he's all complete. This thing definitely will have shelf presence, like especially if you've got the version with the cape. Once you get the cape on there and find some sort of dynamic pose to put him in, assuming that he can hold his balance in whatever that pose is, I think he's gonna look amazing. All right, just a little cleanup needed here. There we go. Even on these really big, chunky parts that are like the handle of the weapon, the amount of and placement of molded detail is really quite good. If you wanted to pick out some of that detail with some hand painting or masking and spraying multiple shades or colors or metallics or something like that, the opportunity is definitely here to do that. I think it would look nice. All right, so that's the biggest pile of parts we've created all day so far. And it's probably still not enough to actually build anything. I definitely need these two pre-painted silver parts here. And probably need those other two over there as well. But I'm not sure about that yet. So I'm gonna leave them for now. All right, so now maybe I can build something. I'm building this twice. Whatever this is. Let's see. We're gonna need that for sure. And one of these. So am I concerned about disassembling this? The answer is yes, definitely. All right, I'm gonna drill a hole. Yeah, I'm just gonna dump all of the drill bits on the table rather than getting out the one I need. Okay. Yep, that'll work. Oh cool, this drill isn't big enough for that drill bit. Alright, we'll use the next one down. Right, so I'm gonna just drill right through here because this is an area that won't ever be seen, and it'll leave a hole right there, which this will cover up, but I'll be able to use something in the future to push through there to push that part out. Also, I have my finger right on the opposite side of where I'm drilling. Don't ever do that. Because you'll hurt yourself when the part or when the drill bit comes through. All right, I'm gonna actually drill a second hole right next to that one just to widen it out a touch and make it easier for my future self. Nice, okay. We're gonna do that again on the other part as well that matches this. Ow, my hand. I'm fine, don't worry. All right, very good. I'm gonna keep this out because we might need to do similar tricks in other places on this weapon. All right, so now let's assemble this thing. So this goes here. Actually, I'm about to need to do it again, right? Because this blue part fits right here. And will never come out again either. All right, so we're gonna drill a similar hole right through the middle of this gray part as well. We'll go from the front this time just because it's easier to line it up that way. Yeah, this gray plastic is definitely different from all the rest. You can tell it for sure when you try to drill through. It's a softer, slightly more flexible plastic. All right, so that will make disassembly in the future actually possible, which is great. Now we can go ahead and put this in here, and where's that other part? This one. Here. All right, next, the other half of the hammer bit, which goes how? That goes there, which is fine. And then this goes over the top of it. So we've completely covered up this pre-painted silver part at this point, but I assume that this might slide open a little bit to reveal it underneath, right? The weapon probably has some sort of opening gimmick to it. That's my best guess. This goes this way. Right, and we'll make a second one of those. That's not what we need. Neither is that. This is. All right. All the little plastic shavings from the drill are starting to bug me, so we're going to vacuum those up real quick. That's better. So, these two halves just sandwiched together for the handle of the weapon. Yeah, and even though that's how this assembly works, they've still done a good job of hiding that seam line in this little lowered panel detail that happens all the way up and down the part there. So again, good job of hiding seam lines. This goes here. This goes on the end. Yeah, simple enough. Those nub marks need cleanup for sure, but I'll leave that for my future self to worry about. All right, now I need more parts. I see two more fingers, thumbs, whatever those are. So I think that there are 2 more hands that we have not built yet. They're probably the weapon holding hands. Yeah, because there's the fingers for those hands. Thanks for the follow. You know, I just realized that you guys' chat is covering up like the cool effect that happens when someone follows or subscribes. I will have to fix that. But not right now, because I want to finish building this and then go eat lunch. I'm starting to get hungry. Yes, I am. Wait, zoom out. There he is. Check it out. Almost done, right? Just the weapon left to go. This is interesting, for sure, how this fits together. Yeah, so all of those different notches and things are slightly different sizes, and they're keyed so that they do. No, this stream is a continuation of, is it the 3rd or the 4th? I think this is actually the 4th stream, which were each of the previous ones were about 2 hours. So yeah, it's taken a while. And I don't like, I don't pre-do anything when I build on stream, right? So I don't like trim all the parts ahead of time or whatever. If I did that, I could probably do it much quicker. This is really weird and interesting. I'm not sure what this pointy bit is exactly supposed to do yet, but it looks like, looking at the instructions, I've got everything lined up like they want me to, so we'll just go ahead and assemble it and see what happens. That goes that way. Oh, nice. Yeah, the 13th isn't far away, right? Like less than a week. So I have really enjoyed the build so far. And I actually wasn't originally planning to pick this kit up. Like, I didn't pre-order it or anything like that. I knew it was coming. I kind of ignored it. And then I saw it in my local hobby shop, so I just picked it up from them. And I am glad that I did, because it's been really good. All right, so this goes with this. How? This way? And then they all attach onto this part like so. Here, I'll zoom you guys back in so you can see the detail here, because there's going to be some interesting motion, I think. Yeah, we'll wait until everything gets put together, but this is definitely turning and causing this to go up and down. And it looks like this might have a little bit of a, pull-out motion as well. Nice. So yeah, I would say the one thing to be careful of with this kit is that some of the parts fit together very tightly. So just be careful as you're assembling it that, like, don't make a mistake that you have to go back and undo, because with a lot of Bandai kits you can, disassemble pretty easily and fix a problem, or if you forget to put something in between two parts or whatever, you can fix it. This one, if you do that, is going to be a lot harder to take it back apart and fix it. There's one piece left here on this runner, and I'm afraid that we missed it, like it went somewhere already and I didn't include it, maybe? Because I don't see where else it could go. It might be a duplicate of... Yeah, there's this blue part. That's the same part, isn't it? Yes. So I remember this went somewhere on the chest, I think. Yeah, it went, it's like in there. Can you see it? There's like a little blue edge right in behind this white part. That, I think, is an alternate version of that part if you wanted it to be entirely transparent orange in there instead of having that little blue detail. Here's another instance where the instructions are telling us that a part snaps in very tightly. Not these, although they did. It's the this next bit when we put these hammer parts onto the handle. It says that they snap into place. Which, yeah, that makes sense. The reason they snap into place is there's a little peg inside there that's going to fit into this little groove piece, which is going to help with the motion that happens when we turn part of this hammer. I can already tell based on how this is coming together how this is going to work. But yeah, getting that to snap in there is going to be a little tricky. There it goes. I think that got it. And then this one's going to have to go this way. That one snapped in easier. This one still doesn't, on this side, doesn't seem like it's done the right thing. You know why? Because I didn't cut off this nub right there. Haha, always trim your nubs. Now it's going to fit better. There is nothing on this model so far that's loose. If anything, I would say it's too tight. It's not too tight, but it's very tight. So yeah, I think it will be solid and it will be fairly easy to pose it, and you won't have too much trouble with it getting loose over time. I wouldn't be concerned about that really much at all. Right, so here's the gimmick. I don't know if you're supposed to activate it by turning this middle part, which seems really hard to do. I guess you can do it. So see, if I turn this little emblem here, this moves in and out. And also the point up top moves up and down. Same with this one has come loose from the mechanism though. This one is also supposed to do it. They're supposed to go together. Here, let's fix this. There we go. Right, so that opens up like that, shows that silver part inside. So this silver also, since you were asking about the kit, some of these parts came pre-painted with silver. So this little silver bit that you see here was actually this transparent orange, but it was, part of it was pre-painted silver. There were also some bits on the knees here. So in behind this clear orange part, there was some pre-painted silver. There was some pre-painted silver here on the chest behind that clear orange part as well. So yeah, I'm not sure how they did that, whether it was a person that painted it by hand or they have some sort of manufacturing process that sprays the runners in the right spots. But there was a pre-painted aspect to some of the parts as well, which was good. All right, so we turn this to put it back. Yes. In order to make this guy hold this weapon, I think I have to cut out the other hand parts that we haven't messed with yet. So let me grab... Wait, 28 is already here. Oh, they're telling me to remove those. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so we're gonna do... We're gonna hold this in his right hand, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's a really, really good design. I don't know what those two parts are right there. All right, we'll leave the other matching parts that I didn't cut out there are for the left hand, if you want it to hold the weapon. But I'll leave those on the runners for now because we don't need them. All right, so let's do some hand surgery here. I can probably put away this drill. I don't think we need it again. All right, my friend, does your hand come off? So we have to remove a thumb and an index finger. It's going well, thanks. Yeah, my above camera, I just need a haircut, actually. My hair is too tall and is getting in the way. The head, the other one's not meant to be a face cam. It can be. Hello, now it's a face cam. But I like to put it down on the build surface when I'm building, because otherwise I'm just looking down like this anyway, so I'm not talking to you guys. That makes sense? But you can let me know what you think about that versus, like, is this view better, or is the view of the side of my face while I'm looking down at this at the build surface better? Let me know what you think. I guess we can hold this anywhere along this length. Sure. Yeah, so that hammer is actually attached into the palm part of his hand so tightly, you don't even need the fingers to hold it in place. And actually fitting the fingers in here after getting it in place is a little tricky, but it can be done. No, man, you're fine. Feedback is good, right? Because I've just recently kind of changed all of the camera setup on the stream anyway. So, yeah. I don't mind feedback at all. All right. We'll look at a face for a minute so you can see how excited I am that this is done. This guy is done. Yeah, this is cool. Now, what I don't have, since we're talking about camera angles, right, is I don't have a good way to show this standing up, right, because my overhead cam is looking down at the desk. So I can hold it like this and you guys can see it. Yeah, I don't have a way to like stand it here on the desk and get a front view for you guys. Our fears about balance are definitely not an issue. The backpack, once we put the backpack on, for those of you who've just joined, he got a little bit back heavy, like he had trouble standing up. But the weapon definitely balances it out, right? So there's no way that he's falling over backwards now because he's got all this weight out front. Now, I guess if you wanted to hold this, like how could we hold this so that it puts weight to the back? There's not really a way. So yeah, you're fine. Standing this guy up and posing it in a standing position is not going to be a problem as far as weight goes. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, in my real life outside of streaming, I do a lot of like audio and not so much video production, but a lot of audio, live audio stuff. And so I care a lot about the quality of, you know, how things look and sound, even if you're just streaming. So, yeah, I'm glad you noticed. All right, are we done? We have a few runners left, right? So we've got, we do have a action-based connector. I assume this mounts up underneath the crotch somewhere. Yes, there's a spot right there that you guys probably can't see on camera where that would mount. And then we have the other hand, the left hand for holding that weapon. We have this entire runner of clear parts, which was a duplicate of our runner of transparent orange parts that we used instead. There's more hand parts over there, and these two runners have one extra attachment point. Yeah, right? You look at the, it's all like all blurry and yeah, you can't see anything. So, and we can zoom this in, right? So I like to be zoomed into about here when I'm, even though my hands are huge in frame, when I'm building or when I'm actually snapping parts together. I think that makes sense. So I think that this, we were just talking about this. This was the 4th stream, I'm pretty sure. Maybe 5. No, it had to be 4. So it was the 4th stream of this kit, or of this build. Most of the streams were like 2 hours, 2.5 hours long. This one today has been nearly 3.5. I started earlier than I usually do today because I wanted to try to finish it on stream. So what does that make it? Like 5, 10, almost like 11 or so hours, I guess. Yeah, and that was without any prepping of any of the parts, right? So it was just trimming and building and everything on stream. Now I didn't sand any nubs or do anything like that. I just tried to trim them as best as I could with a good pair of nippers, which is what I normally do when I snap build. And then I will eventually go back and disassemble this thing and sand all the little bits to perfection and then paint it up and put it back together again, which is going to take quite a bit of time as well. So I don't know when that'll be. That'll be sometime in the future for me. But yeah, I feel like I need to see the thing. I need to put the thing together and I need to see it built before I can make final decisions about how I want to paint it and if I want to do any other detailing or things like that. So for that reason, I almost always snap build everything first and then go back and do all of that other stuff on a second pass later on. I also tend to leave my snap built kits like sitting up on a shelf somewhere, or like I've got this wall behind me in my studio here where I can mount them up on the wall. Although this guy's big and heavy, I don't know if that'll work out. But I leave them sitting out so that I can like stare at them every once in a while. Like, so I'm just looking at them on the shelf, or I walk by and I see them. And that helps me to sort of internalize and get ideas about how I want to finish them out. So. Full Mechanics Barbatos resin kit? Yeah, that's nice. Is that a regular Barbatos Lupus, or is it one of those ones? I remember there was a whole series of resin kits for those Full Mechanics IBO kits that were like, they made them into like samurai looking mecha kits. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but those were interesting too. And those went with that same kit as a base. Cool. Yeah, the samurai, I had one of the samurai ones. I think I started working on it years ago and I never did finish it. I should dig that out of storage and see if I can finish it up. All right, so he's finished, except for the cape, right, which is inside of this nice cardboard packaging, and I really don't want to open it and mess it up. Although, you know what, we could take a look because I can put it back. I don't want to actually mess with this too much until I get it, until I have the kit finished and I'm ready to display it. But we can take a look and see. So the instructions are here to show you how to disassemble and attach the different attach points here that are meant to fit onto the kit. But yeah, it felt like there's this wire in it, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be perfectly good for keeping its structure. So yeah, and I was also, like I said, concerned about ripping it or messing it up or whatever. So I'm going to hold on to that, and eventually in the future when I finish the whole kit, I'll probably play with actually getting that on the kit and making it look right, which may require some additional reinforcement wires and things, I think. You know what? I'm not going to put that back in the bag right now. I'll do it later. Yeah, so here we are. Yeah, see, when I lean forward like that, my head is in the shot. I got to figure that out. I'll just probably reposition the camera a bit and get a different angle. I want to get an over my head looking down this way angle. Yeah, let's talk about camera placement for a minute, right? Because if I put the camera straight above looking straight down, then when I'm working with parts or, you know, trimming parts or whatever, I tend to lean things toward myself, right? So then you guys would be looking kind of straight. It would look more like this to you. Whereas if I've got it at an angle above my head looking a little bit forward, then you get almost the view that I do. So that's what I'm trying to achieve while also keeping my head out of the shot, if that makes sense. My camera is on an arm, but it has a fixed focal length lens on it, so I have to be careful about positioning the arm just right so that I can, you know, as far as distance, so that I get the shot that I want without getting my head in the shot. So anyway, yes, camera trouble, but it's just a matter of trial and error and figuring it out, right? Yeah, like I said, if I move the arm up further away, I get a wider shot because it's a fixed focal length lens, and I don't like the wider shot. I could, of course, then crop it or something. So yeah, I'll work on that. Not up but back. Yeah, it could work. Yeah, we'll get it working. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Those of you who are not any longer here, and those of you who stuck around till the end. Yeah, this thing is cool. And just to show it again, there's this gimmick on the hammer where you turn this center part and it opens up and shows the silver bits inside, which is also very nice. Nice touch. That is a good point. Yes, good idea. Yeah, awesome. All right, I'm gonna go eat lunch because I'm super hungry, and I streamed longer than I normally do, but again, to finish this was cool. And the plan for streams going forward is to start something new, and it's a resin kit. And I'm not gonna say anything more about it right now, but all of the parts are in, and I've never streamed a build of a resin kit before, and so I'm not gonna stream every moment of that build, but I'll definitely pop in I'll do some other work off stream with it from time to time, but I'll definitely show you guys the more interesting bits. So Oh yeah, I don't post on Instagram very much. I should, right? I'll try to do more of that. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, but I also don't want to. I don't want to just be sitting there sanding resin parts, for like hours and hours on stream. That seems kind of boring. And the camera arm that's above me, part of the reason for putting it on an arm is I can pivot and turn it around that way. Behind this shelf over here is my spray booth. And so, yeah, I should be able to get a view of spray booth airbrush painting stuff, which we'll probably try in a future stream as well. Yeah, that should work out and should be fun to play with. So, cool. I will find you on Instagram if I don't already follow you there, and follow you back as well. But for now, I will say thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.